So then around the same time, or maybe a few months before, but not that long ago, OpenAI put out this paper on instruction following. And again, here there's there's quite a lot in this paper. This is the paper that introduced, or at least named, reinforcement learning from human feedback as a method for fine-tuning large language models or further improving large language models. And there's some debate to be had as to whether or not that's, the secret to the success of this method or even a necessary component um, of large language models at all. There are a lot of alternatives like learning through contrastive learning over preferences or direct, preference optimizations that I find more appealing personally. But the main contribution of this paper was collecting data that you could use for standard supervised fine tuning that was just directly of the format of here's an instruction that the language model will receive, perhaps with some associated data, and then here is a completion that the large language model should produce, right? And so fine-tuning a foundation model on this kind of data, on this kind of instruction following data, shifted it from just wanting to act like smart autocomplete, so just wanting to continue the text it had seen before, to actually trying to respond to or execute upon conceptually the instruction in the text that it had seen before. And that's actually a much more intuitive way to interact with a large language model, right? It's like you're treating it like an agent, and you're asking it a question, or you're telling it to do something, and you expect it to do the response rather than just like continue talking about the request, right? So this pragmatic shift is quite an important one. It was anticipated in a paper by I forget the name of the first author, but over Levy also, which was the Turking test, which talked about this standard failure mode of large language models pre-instruction following, where if the tasks were about sort of manipulating data or like actually executing an instruction, that the rate of failure of models, even with prompt engineering, was significantly higher. And so that there was something fundamental that needed to shift for the models to have this. And in this instance, this is that fundamental shift. It's like if you start training on instruction following data, then the model learns how to follow novel instructions. It's very cool.